Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. I am so incredibly excited to share this one with you today because, honestly, we're looking at something just profoundly beautiful and deeply moving. We are going to explore the core themes behind an incredibly heartwarming animated Sikh story titled Sikh Baby's First Seva, Tiny Hands, Big Heart. And what makes this source material so unique is that it doesn't rely on complex dialogue or some twisting, turning narrative, not at all. Instead, it leans completely into atmosphere, devotion, and a singular, powerful spiritual focus. Today, we are going to unpack exactly how such a beautifully simple concept creates such a massive spiritual impact. Satnam Waheguru, Satnam Waheguru, Satnam Waheguru. Now, if you dive into the actual transcript of our source material, you won't find huge, clunky paragraphs of exposition. No way. You're going to find exactly this, just repeated continuously. While the words in our source are few, this rhythmic, unbroken chant represents a vast, deep, spiritual focus. It is literally the heartbeat of the entire piece. Rather than telling us what to feel, the source material just immerses us in this chant, letting the repetition wash right over us. So we are going to decode exactly what this means, why it's being chanted, and how it directly relates to our animated baby hero.
Okay, let's just dive right into this. Section 1. A Baby's First Seva.
Right off the bat, the title sets up this absolutely stunning contrast, doesn't it? We've got tiny hands and a big heart. It immediately draws our attention to the physical limits of an infant, small, fragile, just starting to figure out the world, paired with this literally boundless spiritual capacity. And to really get the weight of this, we've got to talk about the word seva. In Sikhism, seva is a massive foundational concept. It literally means selfless service, doing something purely for the benefit of others or the divine, with zero expectation of a reward, praise, or result. Now think about that for a second. How on earth does a baby perform seva? They don't have wealth to give, they definitely don't have the physical strength to build or labor. But what this source brilliantly shows us is that true seva, it starts right in the heart and the mind. The baby's service is just pure, untainted devotion.
And that exact devotion just radiates throughout the whole transcript. Which brings us to Section 2, Defining Satnam Waheguru.
So if this phrase is practically the only thing we're going to hear, we really need to grasp the immense power behind these words. Let's break it down, starting with that first half, Satnam. Sat translates to truth and Nam translates to name. Put them together and you've got true is his name or truth is the name. When the baby in our story meditates on this word, they aren't just making sounds. They are anchoring themselves to the absolute foundational truth of the universe. It's a bold declaration that the divine is the ultimate reality.
Then we have the second half of the chant, Waheguru. This is just a profound way to describe the divine. Wahe expresses this deep awe and wonder, while Guru is the enlightener, the one who literally dispels darkness and brings the light. So Waheguru is the wondrous enlightener. And when you put the whole thing together, Satnam Waheguru, Behem, you get an incredibly powerful mantra. It's this continuous recognition of the ultimate truth and the awe-inspiring light of the divine. This right here, this is that big heart expressing itself through those tiny hands. Now, what's really fascinating here is how the source presents this chant. It doesn't just stick to one single visual. It actually weaves the exact same spiritual message across different written scripts. On one side, we see the Gurmukhi script, and on the other, the Hindi script. They look totally different visually, right? But they carry the exact same vibration and meaning. It's a gorgeous nod to the universality of the message. The devotion completely transcends the specific ink on the page. It's all about the intention and the raw energy behind the words.
So that flows perfectly into our next core idea, Section 3, the practice of Simran. This is a really crucial piece of the puzzle, especially since it connects the whole overarching themes of the channel that actually uploaded the source, which is literally named Prabhkas Simran. So, what actually is Simran? Well, it's the continuous, mindful remembrance or chanting of the divine name. It's exactly the action we're witnessing in the transcript. Think of it like this. If Seva is the selfless service itself, Simran is the bridge that allows a baby to actually perform it. By chanting Satnam Waheguru on loop, the baby enters a state of Simran. It's a constant, unbreakable connection to the divine. Super active, yet completely peaceful. And this brilliantly illustrates the whole picture for us. We've got the tiny hands representing that pure physical innocence. We've got the big heart showing off this massive spiritual capacity that totally defies age. And finally, the continuous chanting, which is the actual act of Simran. The baby's tiny physical footprint in the world translates into this massive, sweeping devotion just through the sheer focus of Simran. It really goes to show you absolutely don't need to be mighty in physical stature to be a total giant in spirit.
Which brings us to our final and maybe most impactful section, the power of endless repetition.
You know, when you look at a transcript that just repeats the exact same phrase over and over, it's super easy to wonder, okay, why? But the repetition isn't because they ran out of things to say. It's a very deliberate, meditative pacing. Just in the short excerpt we analyzed, the phrase Satnam Waheguru is repeated over 50 times. Yeah, 50+ repetitions. That number is absolutely key because it represents the sheer volume and weight of the practice. It's literally a visualization of pure, unbroken focus. It's not about rushing to get to the end of a sentence, it's about anchoring yourself in the present moment. Every single repetition is a brand new opportunity to connect, wrapping the animated baby and us as viewers in this continuous flow of devotion.
But the chant isn't entirely static, and this is where it gets really beautiful. If you look closely at the text, you'll see it occasionally shifts. It introduces these subtle variations of respect by adding the suffix ji, so it becomes Satnam ji or Waheguru ji. In South Asian cultures, ji is this wonderful honorific used to show deep respect and endearment. By naturally weaving ji into the loop, the text injects a deep, rhythmic honor right into the chant. It literally takes this grand, cosmic concept of the divine and makes it feel incredibly personal, loving, and intimate.
Ultimately, what we're looking at here is repetition acting as a vehicle. It drives us into a meditative state of pure innocence. The continuous loop of the text mirrors the audio experience, gently guiding the viewer completely away from the noise and distractions of the daily grind, straight into a profound state of calm. It's a perfect match for the pure, innocent devotion of that animated Sikh baby. The baby isn't stressed out about their ego, or tomorrow's to-do list, or worldly anxieties. Right then and there is literally only the breath, the truth, and the wondrous enlightener.
Which brings us to the core takeaway of today's explainer. We have literally seen how tiny hands and a big heart can manifest massive spiritual energy, just through the simple, repetitive act of Simran. So I want to leave you with this question to chew on. How can the pure simplicity of a baby's devotion inspire your very own practice of seva? In a world that is constantly screaming for our scattered attention, maybe, just maybe, the most profound form of selfless service we can offer is to return to that simple, unbroken focus. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and diving into this absolutely gorgeous piece of source material. Until next time, keep learning, keep reflecting, and remember the massive power of a simple, focused heart.